Hey everybody, Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, back with continuing our series on favorite cards of colors for any commander deck. I didn't put one up on Monday because I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I was very busy with my daughter this weekend. My daughter does come first, so I skipped a day. It is what it is. If the YouTube algorithm hates me, so be it. But we're back again today, and today we're going to go with Simic. And actually, Simic is one of my favorite color combinations. I have three Simic decks, actually. I have Alanis, I have Tetiova, and then I cannot remember what the other one is right offhand, but I know I have a third one. And I really, really like Simic. It combines two of my favorite things, which is Control via blue and Ramping Timmy stuff via green. But I will be honest with you, when it comes to Simic, I typically go the Timmy route rather than anything else. So here are my top 5 Simic decks for any commander deck that can fit them, of course. Let me know what your favorite Simic cards are in the comments down below. I always look forward to it. And without further ado, let's start off with Spitting Image here. Spitting Image has been reprinted a billion times. It's pretty well known, but I love this card to death. It's a sorcery for 4 generic and then double green-blue hybrid. And it says create a token that's a copy of target creature. Does not have to be your own creature. Can be an opponent's creature as well. That I have copied a lot of people's commanders. I have copied Esper Sentinels, all sorts of different things, because in blue-green, I'm much farther ahead on lands than usually my opponents are, so I can afford the 6 mana faster and get that through. And then it has Retrace, which is you may cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a land card in addition to paying its other costs. In Simic, you're going to have a ton of lands. 90% of the decks in Simic are going to be landfall decks of some kind. I have a Clue deck and a landfall deck, and then one that's kind of like an aggro-y landfall deck. It's very strange. But overall, very good utility. The 6 doesn't really matter. This may as well just say pay 2 as fast as you usually ramp out in Simic. And just overall, a very fun card that has stood the test of time. A lot of cards that are older have not stood the test of time, like Rite of Replication and things like that. Spitting Image, I still see it in a lot of people's lists when I play on Spell Table and in person, because I think it's just that fun of a card. Next up, we have Double Major. So, Double Major here is an instant from Strixhaven, 1 green, 1 blue, copy target creature spell you control, except it isn't legendary. If the spell is legendary. I use this a lot for my value engine commanders. I run this in my Tetiova deck. I run this in my Lannis deck because this card is just so very good at generating value. And this is just getting better and better and better as time goes on, as every set pretty much has 10 trillion legendary creatures in it. If you're in Simic, or any of the color combinations that run Simic in them, play this card. You will not regret it. You can copy, like I said, just about everything these days. Everything, especially in Universes Beyond sets, are legendary. Just what you do is you cast your creature, hold up the extra 2 mana, hold priority, copy it. Fantastic. Just be aware that if your opponents have counter magic, you might get 2 for 1, which is a big sad. So be a little bit careful on how you use your resources. But Double Major, again, really fun, really strong. I really like this card. I jam it in pretty much, like I said, every single deck that can get it. I run it in Janara. I run it in, let's see here if I can see any others that run blue-green off the hands. Oh yeah, I run it in my Praetor's deck. I run it in my Eldrazi deck. It's just overall super fun. Next, a very simple and straightforward uncommon from Modern Horizons 3, which I have a billion of. It's a Planar Genesis. It is an instant for 1 green and 1 blue. You look at the top 4 cards of your library, and you may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped. Pretty straightforward. If you don't, put a card from among them into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. I really like these sort of like impulse-y effects. I like that I can ramp out a land if I need to, but I also like that I can find a spell, which, sometimes you want a spell when you already have enough lands. So this kind of scales into the late game. In the early game, you want lands to ramp. In the mid to late game, you want spells to use your lands with and less lands. Very strong, very good. And for 2 mana at instant speed, doing it during your opponent's turn, really not that bad, especially if you get that land onto the battlefield, because it says any land. That's very important. So like if you have enters tapped land, you can do this on your opponent's turn, put it into play, untap on your turn, and get to use it. Pretty fun, pretty good. I've used it a lot to great effect. Next, we have Aggressive Biomancy. This is a really fun card. I got my copies out of the precons that it came with, and it is X, green and blue. Sorcery, create X tokens that are a copy of target creature you control, except they have, when this creature enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. I run this in my Tetiova deck. Again, I have a Blightsteel Colossus in that deck, and I have copied my Blightsteel a whole bunch of times and had it fight, and that has been a way to win the game, because I also run things like Concordant Crossroads in that deck. I have used this to get a whole bunch of value out of, you know, ETB effects and things like that. And for fighting, I've done this to Eldrazi. I've done this, like I said, to Blightsteel Colossus. I've done this to dragons before. All sorts of fun stuff. Overall, the one thing that does hold this card back is its X mana cost. But when you are in Simic, you are able to ramp a whole lot. And there are a million infinite mana combos, such as Palinchron, High Tide, etc. You know, all those different ways. Get yourself a whole bunch of mana and just, you know, cast this. And then last, but certainly not least, everybody really knows this card. You know him, you love to hate him. It's Uro Titan, so Titan of Nature's Wrath. He has, whenever he enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped, and then when Uro enters the battlefield or attacks, you gain 3 life, draw a card, and then you can put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. This is so much generic value for 3. It is so very strong, and and you can easily punish people who aren't running graveyard removal, because his escape cost is just 5 cards and then 4. And in Simic, you're going to be running a bunch of ramp spells, so you're probably going to have just a stack of useless cards that you're not going to need back in your graveyard, and you're going to be able to escape him, and then he's just going to keep doing his generic value. Gaining life, dropping a potential land, and card advantage is just a massive, massive advantage in a game of Magic, and a 6/6 is nothing to balk at either. At worst, he is going to eat some hate either to your graveyard or when you escape him onto the battlefield, and as long as they don't exile him, he can come back again. This card, like I said, very strong, really fun. Pick up a couple copies, if you will. Again, generic value. That's a lot of Simic. Simic isn't in my, like, this is my Simic choices, right? So you can always go with different ones, and that's what I want to hear from you about. What Simic cards do you run in every Simic deck? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, I'm Weston with the Hidden Gibbon, and tomorrow we'll be back with another one of our color combinations. Have a great day.